Davidoff Cool Water, the power of cool.
Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to the channel. Now today I'm reviewing the lights that I used to create that product promo video that you just saw in the intro. Now this is the Pixel P80 video light. It's a 60 watt RGBW panel, which is slightly bigger than an A4 sheet of paper for reference, and weighing in at just 1.5 kilograms. Now, before we go any further, the company reached out asking to collaborate on a review, and they sent 2 of these over for free. So in this video, I'm going to give you some specs, tell you what I like, as well as what can be improved on for these lights. And I'm going to be giving you a couple of use case scenarios. So stick around till the end for those. Okay, so first of all, let's have a quick look at the light fixture. So at the front, starting at the front, we have these metal bandos that fold away nice and flush, by the way. I really like that. So at the front we have these bandos, and this whole plate that the bandos sit on can actually be removed. So if we just release these clips at the top, we can then slide this whole fixture off if we didn't need to use these bandos. And this reveals the diffusion at the front of the panel, which protects the LED beads, as well as, of course, softening the light output from this light. And to attach these to a light stand, we have this little yoke right here, which is secured using these wing nuts. These are plastic handled wing nuts, 3 of them. This one is to connect to your light stand. And around the back we have this control panel where we have the LCD screen, we have our function buttons, as well as a socket for our AC supply connect. And this accepts between 24 and 33 volts DC power via the brick. So this is the connector brick from the AC supply, which then plugs right into here. And there's also an optional battery kit that you can purchase separately that would run with this. So you essentially get a battery kit with a plug, with a connector, connect it into there, mount your batteries, and off you go. So you can control this light manually using the buttons at the back of the panel. Now if we just turn this on, we faced with a menu on the LCD screen, and we have a readout in terms of percentages, so we can tell exactly where our settings are, and we can go through the different modes on this and just change our settings to our desired effect. However, the best way of controlling this is via the Pixel LCS app, which is available on Google Play and the Apple App Store. Now, they've even printed a QR code at the back of this LED light. If you follow that link, it'll take you directly to the app where you can download it from your favorite store. So I'm just going to take you through the app quickly to show you some of the things that you can actually do within the app. So obviously one of the first things that you might want to do is to turn the light on and off. So we can do that right here on the front page. We can see I've got this light in the background, the blue light, and I'm using that as my background light right now. And that is on the setup here as P80. So if we selected the color temperature adjustment, we can just cycle through these color temperatures ranging between 2500 and 10,000 Kelvin, which is quite a decent range for a light within this price bracket. And you can also adjust the magenta and green hues within that setting as well. You can also adjust the intensity. We'll just bring that one back to the middle just for now. Next one is the RGBW. Now you can go ahead and select the colors that you want on here within the RGB range. Go through the sliders, you can change those as well. Another one that you can use is the HSI, which is the one that I probably will be using most of the time if I wanted to select a color. So we can just cycle through these, and you'll be familiar with these in any editing software. You'll see these color wheels, and that's probably one of the most easiest ways to go through and select the color that you want to set the light to. There's also a setting if you wanted to create a gel or recreate a gel effect. So there's these leaf filters, and there's quite a few to choose from. You can just select one as it is. Now whilst we're here, what I can say is that we can create favorites as well. So for example, if I go to my favorites down here in the app, I've already set 2 up. So I've already set the top one to be YouTube blue, which is what I use for my YouTube videos. On the back panel, I just tap that one and off it goes back to that same color. So it's very, very easy to create these scenes, create these favorites, so that you can recall them whenever it is that you need to, and you want to make it nice and quick. just created this one called hot pink. So if we just go back into our dimming, and we can select, for example, if we go into HSI and we're going to select a green color, all you have to do is tap that favorite button at the top and it's saved to collection. So when you go into your favorite, it's now saved as favorite 3, and then you can rename that to anything that you really want it. Next up is the camera. So if we select the camera, what we can do here is just select any source or any color source that we want to set the lighting to. So it's not many different color variations within here. What we're going to do is select this at the back of this light. So if we just obtain a sample from the back of this, let's use this blue right here, and we hit obtain, then the light is just going to change to that particular color, which is easy if you're having trouble dialing in a specific color. You can just use this camera, pretty simple, which is a really nice touch, really nice effect. Next thing we're going to go into is effects. So if we hit the effect tab, then we can go through these different lighting effects. But to be honest with you, I don't really use these lighting effects that much, but they might come in handy for, depending on what scenario you want to use it for. So I use this as a background ambience for my YouTube videos, as you're seeing right now, as well as for lighting my product video production side of things. Now let's check out a couple of setups from that intro video that you saw real quick. Now if we go through the setup, we can just tweak a few things to see exactly where we are. And what I like to do is really start with one light and add and tweak. So the first light where we have is sort of the backlight or the ambient light, and that is creating this blue surface on the water where the product is sitting. So what I'm going to do next is add the second light. So we're just going to make a few tweaks to this one, because at the moment this light that is hitting it from this side here is very, very hot. It's a bit too bright, and we just need to tone it down a little bit. So we just select that on the app and just reduce the intensity. I'm going to take it down to about 46%, and it's already looking good. You could choose to add a little bit more diffusion if you want, and depending on the product and depending on how reflective it is, would actually help you make those decisions. Okay, so let's take a look at an alternative lighting setup. So for this one, we have one pixel P80 top down, and we still have the other one in the background behind the diffuser. If we look at the background, and one of the cool things about having these barn doors on this is the fact that we can shape the light and direct the light a little bit more intentionally. So I'm just going to move the barn door at the back. I'm just going to use this one, and we can see we're getting rid of the pink spillage that's going back onto the background. So let's check that again. So we have that pink hue, and you might want to use that coloration. There's a gap between the barn doors and the lighting fixture itself, and so you can get some spillage. I don't know if you can see my hands right here, but that spillage is coming from the gap. Now what I've done in this case is I just use some gaff tape, and I'm going to close that gap. So you can see that spillage is no longer there, and it's not affecting anything that we do not want to light. I think that's a pretty cool looking shot from this point of view. And again, you have the opportunity to go through and just cycle through your hues, just change the tone. I think this is pretty cool. This is quite nice. And of course, don't be afraid to experiment. This is an A1 foam card, and look at the difference this is going to make by just placing this in different parts of the scene. Okay, well, I hope you learned a thing or two there about using this light and about lighting in general as well. So what do I like about these lights? I like the rich RGB color output. I like the ease of use, especially when using the app. I like the small form factor, which makes it easy for storage and and carrying around generally. I like the price. You can pick up one of these for less than $200 US, which for what it does is a pretty good deal. Now there's a couple of things that I think could be improved on. Things like this yoke mechanism. Let's just turn this off. Yeah, things like this yoke mechanism. It feels like if I have to over tighten this wing nut right here to get it to stay in place, and it feels like if I over tighten this, or if I tighten this anymore, it's just going to snap off. I think it would have been nice to have included a battery mount at the back of this instead of having a separate accessory, but that is not necessarily a deal breaker. Well, that's all the time that I have for this one, guys. I'll leave a link below where you can pick one of these up if it piques your interest, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.